what's up you guys? I'm Sara Lubratt and today's writing vlog is a very fun one. It is all about finishing the reread of draft 4 before I start draft 5 of my high fantasy project that I call Project DE for April Camp NaNowrimo. And then my birthday also fell within this timeline that I was vlogging, and so I included some clips from the trip that I took for my birthday weekend as well. If you go on to enjoy this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could give it a big thumbs up because that really supports my channel. And now without further ado, let's get into today's writing vlog, aka my push to the end of rereading draft 4. Today is March 21st, aka day 1 of 12 before I want to finish, finally, the reread of draft 4 before I get to start working on draft 5. Tonight I was very successful. I ended up doing about an hour and 20 minutes and working on pages 137 to 158 and ended up rereading just about 10,000 words, which is awesome because that is above my theoretical daily goal of 8,207 words, slowly picking my way down through that 65-ish thousand words that I have left of draft 4 of the rereading that I need to do. And it feels really good to get a little bit ahead of my supposed ideal daily word count just because I don't know what the upcoming days are going to hold and because I'll be taking 4 days off this weekend for my birthday. And when I say that, it's mostly that I don't know if I'm going to work on this or not. I will probably not even want to bring my computer to my weekend trip, so it's highly unlikely. There's a chance I might do some on Thursday before I leave. There's a chance I might have enough energy to look over a little bit on Sunday when I get back. But ultimately, I'm just using those 4 days as kind of a wash and kind of just letting myself enjoy my time off and my time away from screens. But I do think that my now moving forward 7 more days across the next 11 days will be a good amount of time to finish the last half of draft 4 and the rereading that I need to do on this last half. I did realize today that I am over halfway done, and that feels really, really good. It's also kind of about time because I think I started this in like January. You can actually just fully look at that. Yes, I started my draft 4 rereading notes on January 17th. So February 17th, March 17th. I've been going at this for a little bit over 2 months now, and I think I can finish within the next 2 weeks before April starts, before Camp Nano starts in April, which then I want to accomplish a lot during the course of Camp Nano. But the energy around Camp Nanos and NaNoWrimos are always so much fun that I think that will be doable. And I feel like this is a good portion of time for me to finish this, which is awesome. So that being said, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Just finished my rereading session for tonight, which was day 2 of 12-ish, aka March 21st, and I ended up working on rereading for about an hour and 40 minutes tonight and did just over 7,300 words, which was a little bit under my ideal daily goal, but I did get ahead yesterday. Today's chapters needed a lot more notes than yesterday's, which is why I think it took me a little while, but I did make a note that from here on out may need to be re-outlined. And I still have a good portion of the book to go. I am currently sitting on page 174 of 285, again of 1.15 spaced pages in a Word document. And so I still have a little over 100 pages, and I'm like high-key wondering if I'm going to need to re-outline the last 100 pages. So that's a thought. It's not my favorite thought right now, but that is a thought. But anyways, 2 days into my ultimately 8 out of 12 day plan or goal before Camp Nano starts, and so I will check in with you guys tomorrow about my progress that I make tomorrow with rereading. Today is March 22nd, and I did not actually do any rereading today, so oops. So I spent tonight packing, making a cake for my birthday, and playing some video games, and so I don't think I'm gonna get to any rereading tonight. I leave for my trip tomorrow. We'll try to do some rereading in the car on my trip tomorrow. I have included timestamps in this video if you want to skip over this birthday section, but I thought I would include it in today's vlog. For my birthday this year, I ended up going to Zion National Park in southern Utah with a couple of my friends and spent some very good time enjoying the scenery and doing some hiking and just spending time out in nature, and got to spend some really good time both in the park hiking, stargazing, and in Springdale, which is the little town just outside of the park that had some really fun restaurants and some fun shops. And the friends that I went with just made me feel really adored and loved. They really made it a very special time. They made it a very special birthday. My past couple of birthdays have not been ideal and have actually been like very negative experiences, if I'm being completely honest. But this birthday like more than made up for everything. It was the best birthday I've ever had, and I just felt, again, so incredibly loved by the people that I was with. And to celebrate my birthday, we celebrated a couple nights early while we were in the park, but we went out and did some stargazing, and while we were stargazing is when we decided to drink some wine and eat the chocolate cake that we had made a couple nights previous, and just sat there eating cake, watching the sunset, and then stargazing. And it was overall just such a magical experience. So I hope you enjoy a couple more clips from my trip, and then we will get back into finishing the reread of Draft 4. Today is now March 28th, and last night I got back from Zion National Park from my birthday celebration weekend, and basically have not written or reread in 5 days, because I didn't on Wednesday the 23rd, Thursday the 24th, the 25th, the 26th, and then yesterday the 27th. So today is now March 28th. Including today, I have 4 days left of this month. So to finish my goal before April starts, before Camp NaNo starts, to basically finish rereading the last half of Draft 4 of my Project DE. So, is that incredibly daunting? Kind of, and enough so that I'm not going to do the math on how many words I actually need to work on tonight. I'm just going to start, and then when I start losing motivation, then I might look at the numbers to see exactly how many I need to do. So with that, we're gonna get started. Alrighty, I'm just wrapping up my rereading for tonight, and I ended up rereading 4 chapters that were rather short. Like, one of the chapters that I read was 133 words, which sounds really short, but is actually very effective in what it needs to do. But I only ended up doing about 3,600 words tonight, so not as many as I was hoping to, but it is 1:13 a.m., so I should wrap it up and go to bed, because if I stay up for too long tonight, then I might not get as much done as I want to tomorrow. That being said, as I'm reading, I am still going through and highlighting both in yellow and green and red things that need to be changed. Things in green I really like I want to keep things in yellow are relatively small fixes, like wording issues or could add more information. And so it's just to draw my attention back to it when I actually start draft 5. And then red is delete, or something in here is factually not true anymore or not cohesive with the rest of the story. And so I'm just leaving those notes for myself because those are smaller scale, whereas the notes that I'm making in my notebook are much larger scale to at least the chapter level and some things to the plot and story level. That being said though, I am currently on page 182 out of 285. So I have 103 more pages that I need to read across the next 3 days. So that is kind of a lot. But I did just make a note in the last chapter that I read that chapter and how I end up rewriting it and adding what I need to add will affect the rest of this character's POV. And so I think I already said this, but I'm kind of wondering if like from here on out it's just going to need to be almost completely rewritten. And that's kind of a stressful thought. But I'm still going to go through and reread the next or last 100 pages and kind of just see what happens. So with that, I will talk to you guys tomorrow for my push to the end. It is now 1:22, technically on March 30th, but I just finished up my writing for March 29th, or my rereading, I guess, for March 29th. And I ended up rereading 6,787 words tonight, even though I was fully aware that including today, I had 3 days left to achieve this goal. And I still had about 100 pages when I started, which meant that I needed to do about 30 to 35 pages tonight. I ended up doing 15. So I went from page 182 to 197, and I worked on it for like an hour and 40 minutes. And so I did a very solid chunk of time, a very solid piece of effort, but didn't quite hit my page goal for tonight, which is totally fine. Based on my calculations, when I started this video, I had roughly about 65-ish thousand more words in draft 4 that needed to be reread, and that brings me down to about 37,000 more to go. And so it's doable for me to finish in the next 2 days if I really push myself. That does put me at page 197 out of 285 though, which means that over the next 2 days, I will need to do about 45-ish pages a day. So unfortunately, it's now looking like this might stretch into the first day or two of April, but I'm thinking that based on how tomorrow goes, I might try to prioritize rereading a lot more and like actively like try to push myself towards this goal, because now it's only 2 days away. And so pushing myself towards the goal might be really good for me. I did think that I was finally getting to the point where I wouldn't need to spend like a ton of time on rereading and taking notes, because the majority of the things that I'm reading need a lot of help and not necessarily just like what I can write a few sentences on to like fix the overall chapter to bring it up to where I want it to be with plot, character, world building, lore, all that fun stuff. But while I was working on things tonight, I was really hoping I was going to make it to page 200, but it's too late. I should just go to bed if I want to accomplish anything tomorrow. So I guess once again with that, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. All right, well, different day, same spot. My math yesterday was very wrong when I said that I needed to do about 15,000 words today and tomorrow. That is not what 37,000 divided by 2 is. It's closer to like 20,000 words a day, if not like 18-ish, 18 or 19,000 words. 18,500 I guess would get me there. And it is currently 12:30 a.m. and I have done 4,000 words today. So that's just interesting. Not sure what to do with that information right now. It is what it is. I did have a much busier day today than I was expecting to. Like I've kind of been going for the last, 12 and a half hours doing a variety of things and being very productive and like surprisingly productive, just not working on the reread until like 11 p.m. So I am now gonna sit down and do another writing sprint and see how much further I can get tonight without being too mean to myself, because I know that I need to finish up some work tomorrow morning before I go off for my weekend. But then I do go off for my weekend, and I'm hoping that in that time I will be able to be outside and get some rereading done. All right, I I just wrapped up my rereading for this evening, and I ended up doing about a total of an hour and a half and ended up rereading 8,444 words, which now puts me on to page 214 of now 286. I must have just added just enough words to bump me over into a new page, but I'm going to go ahead and highlight the rest of the document that I have moving forward to see how many theoretical words I need to reread tomorrow and over the next couple of days. As I'm highlighting here, I do think that I want to leave my apartment to do some of this tomorrow. I might try to go to a bookstore or a coffee shop or something, or honestly might just go take my computer on a drive up through the mountains and just like stop in a pretty parking lot somewhere and get some of this done. I'm not totally sure yet, but we will tackle that when we get there and after I figure out how many words I need to reread tomorrow in order to finish the reread of draft 4 before kickstarting draft 5 for April Camp NaNoWriMo. Wait, that's not right. Okay, I don't know where my count went wrong. Okay, I officially still have 30,942 words to be reread. At this pace, it's going to take me roughly 3.5 times what it took me today, which would be 5.5-ish hours, if not upwards of 6 hours of rereading tomorrow. Is this doable? Maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna go to bed now and not really think about it, hopefully, and just kind of deal with this tomorrow because that's a lot, but I still want to finish before April 1st. Okay. Game time. All right, well, today is March 31st, meaning that today I'm going to try and finish rereading roughly the last 30 or 31,000 words of draft 4. I have already done about 30 minutes of rereading today, which brought me from page 214 to 218. And now it is like 2:30. I just got off of work, and so I need to really lean into this. And so to start out doing that, I'm gonna go get some coffee at a bookstore and sit down there and write just to get out of my apartment while it's still kind of dreary and rainy outside. And then hopefully when it clears up later, I can go for a walk around the park or be active a little bit and then just keep going. This is pretty much all I'm planning to do with the rest of my day today. I just got back from the bookstore, and after sitting there rereading for an hour and 15 minutes, I am now on page 231. So I am making progress, but I still have like 50-ish pages because the last like 5 or so pages of the 286 are notes. So I really only have to get to like 281, which is 50 pages away. And I haven't quite hit 20 total for the day, but I have 50 more pages to go. So I'm gonna make myself some food and then keep going. Whoops. Now it's midnight. I have not written anymore since I last talked to you guys. I was feeling kind of lethargic. I just wanted to rest for a little while, and I let myself do that. And then I went for a short drive and I ran to the grocery store. And then I came back and I jumped on an Instagram live. It was my first Instagram live ever. I had the intention of doing writing sprints while I was on there, and I ended up just like talking to people for like an hour. And then I got off and I messaged some of my writing friends with the intention then of doing writing sprints. And that was 3 hours ago, and I just got off of that video call. So now we are sitting at exactly midnight and I still have to reread like 25,000-ish more words. I have told myself that this is happening tonight. I don't know how long that's gonna take me, but this is happening tonight. So I need to get started like right now. I can't keep procrastinating. I just reread for another hour. I am down to 40 more pages. Let's go. 1:40 a.m. and I just passed the 251 page mark, which means that I now only have 30 pages left. Let's go. It is now 2:30 and I just passed page 261, which now means that I have less than 20 pages to go. It's 2:30 in the morning. I told myself I was gonna finish this tonight. I'm going to finish this tonight. Woo! I'm wondering if delirium has started to settle in yet, or if we're not quite to that point. As I was eating my snack, which was toast, hummus, salt, pepper, lemon, and lettuce, I flipped it upside down when I was eating it, and I realized that when the toast is on the bottom, it's like an open-faced sandwich, and if you flip it so that the lettuce is on the bottom and the bread is on the top, it's like a salad with a very large crouton. I'm approaching 3 a.m. Delirium is setting in. It is now 3:34 and I just passed 271 pages, which means that I'm now at just under 10 pages left. I think I'm just gonna keep pushing. It's 3:34 a.m. I don't know if I'm gonna finish this before 4 a.m. I'm really glad that I don't have work tomorrow though. I think I'm just gonna push through to the end. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look at those beautiful words. I did it. Oh my gosh, and it's exactly 4 a.m. I finished the reread at exactly 4 a.m. on April 1st, technically. But I finished before I went to bed. Oh my gosh, and I finished it all tonight. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, I'm finally done with the reread. That took me 2.5 months. It took me 2.5 months that were rocky and I wasn't really working on creative projects and like I took a month off of YouTube, but it took me that 2.5 months to reread and take notes on the first 3/4 of this book. And then it took me one night, one very, very long day and night to finish reading the last fourth of this draft. Wow. Yesterday I had estimated that today it was going to take me about 6 hours to finish, and it ended up taking me 5 hours and 20 minutes to finish. But the majority of that was after midnight. And tonight I reread pages 214 to 281. And my camera is sliding. I did notice that tonight productive breaks were saving me, like getting up, moving around, doing my dishes, like just getting up and doing something else very, very briefly, and then coming back and sitting down like 10 minutes later was like really saving me and allowing me to go much longer than I would have otherwise been able to, because at like 1 a.m. I was feeling fatigued, but I was not gonna quit. I feel really good about having kept that promise with myself. I always feel the most powerful when I stick to and accomplish my goals, and I'm always the happiest when I'm putting myself and my goals first. I was also noticing that more of the notes that I was taking on this last section, aka pretty much all of what I reread today, was a lot of like, okay, this chapter is going to need to be rewritten, but here's a character personality that you can play up, or like here's how you can intertwine that into like making this chapter better. And I thought that that was awesome and like so helpful. And then as I was rereading, it was really fun to notice which parts have pretty much just been untouched since the first draft and which ones have been tweaked or added to or adjusted since I originally wrote them. And I kind of have like key memories of like, oh yeah, like this scene just flowed when I was writing it. Like, oh, this one was like much choppier when I first wrote it. And it was like a very fun like reader experience because I got to read this, again, the last like 30K as a reader might more, instead of like analytically as the writer, even though I was analytically reading it as the writer. I think the speed at which I read it and the fact that I read the last fourth of the book tonight helped to just kind of put things in perspective and kind of like showed me what the reader experience would be like, which gave me a really good perspective on things. But considering that it is 4 a.m., I just had one of my friends who wakes up this early to go to work start texting me, and I just heard the elevator ding, and I'm like, who's up right now? Clearly I am, but like, who else is up and why? Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I just did that. And before April 1st, so now on April 1st, technically after I go to bed, so I'm gonna call it tomorrow, but tomorrow, April 1st, I am going to get to start draft 5. Oh, that feels good to say. It feels so good to say. I've been working on this book for a minute now, so I am ready to just be in draft 5. I feel like I took so many good notes that are going to help me transform draft 5 into the book that I really, 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 really want this story to be. And some of that will be rewriting chapters, and some of that will just be making small tweaks to play up, like the character arcs and the subplots and the world building and the lore and everything. And I just think it's really gonna pull everything together in just a beautiful way. And I'm very excited to get started on that literally tomorrow. Like literally, oh my gosh, I just had a thought that was like, I kind of want to start it right now. It's 4:07 in the morning. I do not need to do that. I think I've woken up out of my delirium though. So we'll see if I can like calm back down enough to go to sleep tonight so that I can be productive tomorrow as well. But the fact that I worked on this for 5 hours and 20 minutes today kind of also makes me feel like, okay, not these hours, but that kind of time towards creative projects I could do. I don't know how sustainably, especially when it's, you know, the majority of it is between midnight and 4 a.m. But if I can do 5 hours and 20 minutes when I really push myself, I think I could totally do a consistent 2 to 3 hours a day while I'm working other jobs, especially because my jobs are quite flexible most of the time. And so I don't know. I'm feeling really good right now. It's a few days later now. I'm in the same sweatshirt. It is my most comfortable one. What can I say? But I just wanted to check back in with you guys because I was so not mentally present in that last clip after I had finished rereading draft 4. But this chunk of paper right here is all 26 pages of notes that I took on draft 4. I think that all of the notes that I took were a very, very good idea. I think that this is going to help me tremendously with draft 5. In my reread, I was able to cut down like the almost 100 chapters I had. I think I had exactly 100 chapters in draft 4, but I was able to cut that down to about 90. And I think I'll be able to get that down to like 70 to 80 after draft 5 by just combining chapters and reorganizing a couple things. But I just basically wanted to close out this video when I was in more of the correct headspace. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have made it to this point, I really appreciate it. I had so much fun making this video and finishing the reread of draft 4 and my birthday weekend with some friends in Zion National Park. I had such an amazing time with all of it, and I know that this is going to be a video that I really enjoy looking back on. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I would assume that you did because you made it this far, but I would really appreciate it if you could give it a big thumbs up because that really supports my channel, and subscribe if you haven't because again, you made it this far in the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Happy Camp Nano, good luck with your writing, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.